Hi. Recently, DJI released a new drone called Mavic Air 2. My question to you is, would you buy it? Well, for myself, maybe, maybe not. And the reason, of course, I already have the DJI drones. I have the Mavic Air V1, I have the Mavic Pro V2, and the Phantom 4 Pro V2 as well. Now, there is some feature in it that enticed me to get that drone. So let's talk about it. Okay, so this Mavic Air 2, when I look at the spec and I saw on videos some people were flying it, I was amazed. I think it's a great drone. If, for example, I had to start over again and I didn't have these three drones that I have with me now, I would definitely buy Mavic Air 2 for sure, without doubt. But because I have the Mavic Pro V2 and the Mavic Air V1, it's going to be hard for me to decide. There is one feature though that I think makes it stand right out, and it's not 4K 60, it's not 1080p for 240 frames per second. It's the Active Track 3.0 that is able to track people and objects and lock on. I think that's an amazing feature. For that $200 extra compared to the Mavic Air V1, that's already worth it. That's the feature I would want, but I wish DJI would put that software into these older drones and I'll be really happy. But I can understand why they're doing that. Of course, they want to sell more of the new drones. Now let's look at the comparison between Mavic Air V1 to V2. If you look at the Mavic Air V2 and you compare the size, you notice that it falls somewhere between the Mavic Pro V2 and the Mavic Air V1. It's somewhere in the middle. If you look at the weight on the Mavic Air 2, you'll notice that it's about 570 grams versus Mavic Air V1, 430 grams. So you're looking about 140 grams difference. You know, that weight, it doesn't gonna be tiring your hand or anything like that to carry around. Now what's impressive is that extra weight means extra bigger battery, right? So that battery actually lasts about 13 to 14 minutes longer than the original Mavic Air. So it can do about 33 to 34 minutes, whereas this original one can only do 20 to 21 minutes. Other feature that you might like is that it can do 4K 60. Now even my Mavic Pro V2 can't do that, but my Phantom 4 Pro V2 could do that. It can do 4K 60. But what my Phantom 4 Pro V2 cannot do is the 1080p 240 frame per second. That is incredible. In addition, if you look at a bit rate, the new Mavic Air 2 can do 120 megabits per second. That's even better than my Phantom 4 Pro V2. So that means the quality of image might be a little bit better. In fact, they were able to put in there as well 48 megapixel image. Now I wouldn't rely on that too much. That is just more a fad, you know, to be able to capture 48 megapixels. You know, I think it's very important is the sensor and the lens that's in that DJI. So if you have a nice lens and a big sensor, I would probably prefer that over a megapixels. But anyway, some people like higher megapixels. It also has a technology similar to, in fact, I think it is the same as the Mavic Pro V2. That is AquaSync 2.0. Now, AquaSync is a special type of signal allowed to communicate from the controller to the drone itself, and apparently AquaSync 2.0 can go as far, or the range anyway, can go as far as 10 kilometers, whereas the original one can only do about 4 kilometers, and that's ideal. The reason for that is because it's using enhanced Wi-Fi, and enhanced Wi-Fi is not the best way to connect to your drone and your remote controller. For me, for example, when I'm flying this thing, I would not fly further than a kilometers. Every time I fly over a kilometers, I notice there's some signal loss, so I'm always afraid of losing my Mavic Air. But where the Mavic Air 2 is different, it is using AquaSync 2.0, so it can go further, and you can feel more safe that it, is able to connect to the remote control. And even if it cannot do 10 kilometers, 4 or 5 kilometers, to me, that's perfect. That's why I love to fly my Mavic Pro V2, because it can go so far and I don't have to worry too much about it. Other than that, like I said, what convinced me, if I were to buy the drone, if I do have that $800 in my pocket, I would buy it because of that Active Track 3.0. Because I'm a one-man person who like to film, and it'd be nice to have some extra hand. Well, having a drone that's able to track you more accurately during filming, that is worth that $200, like I mentioned. Other than that, maybe the other feature that I listed out that you probably like, but for me, having these 3 drones, I think I'm happy with it. Maybe in the future I can save up. I'll just buy it for that feature alone, the Active Track 3.0. Now, maybe they'll come out with a new drones, right? The Mavic Pro V3, and maybe you'll have everything in there as well. But then again, the price would be twice as much as the Mavic Air 2. So if you have the money, then go for it. If I had to start over again, if I were you, I would actually pick Mavic Air 2. Even, the Mavic Air V1 is $200 cheaper. I think Mavic Air 2 is definitely worth it. And that is my opinion, but I hope you can make the right decision. Thanks for watching EducateTube.com.